In most places of the world, there is some kind of toxins that you do not need to be intaking, but for some reason they're put into your water. I'm in America. There are some horrible things that they put in our water that are doing bad things to our body. Now you can call some of it a conspiracy. I call it fact. I'll present the facts, because one thing you've got to have in life is water. Besides oxygen and food, there's lots of empirical evidence you can look up on the internet that'll say you're at least between 70 to 90% water. Let's go through the evidence. Let's talk about what's in the water. Let's talk about why we want to get away from it. And then what can we do about it? Like I mentioned in the beginning, you are made up of water biologically. Everything combines and works with water. You can be healthier. You can eliminate disease. Most doctors can't even explain. So they decide to treat symptoms instead, because that's what they're in the business of doing. Millions of people in America are exposed daily to toxins. Okay, there is chlorine, fluoride, lead from rusty old pipes, old iron pipes that have been in the ground forever, drugs from your community passed down toilets and sinks, and they cannot be all the way removed at processing plants, which also leads you to believe, how do they get rid of all the other bad stuff, if you know what I mean? Pesticides are in there too. Herbicides and pesticides. You know what they do? They're poison. Or they destroy bacteria. And you know what another big part of you is made out of? This is another freak you out statement. You're more bacteria than you are human. By count of the living bacteria colonies in your body over your actual cellular structure, these herbicides and pesticides have been discovered even in Antarctica. Can you believe that? And you say, Antarctica? Well, there's no crops growing in Antarctica. How could there possibly be pesticides and herbicides in Antarctica? Everybody's spraying it on their lawns. Everybody's spraying it at golf courses. Everybody's got Roundup. Crops are growing with it. The stuff evaporates. It gets up into the air, carried through the jet stream. I'm outdoors today because it's a beautiful day. It was. Sun's starting to set, and there's a haze on the horizon. Maybe something's coming. And here's something else. Arsenic, mercury, radium has been found in the water as well. This is in America. It sounds terrifying. And it should. I want you to be terrified. Because like I said, your body is mostly composed of water molecules, and you got to have them to operate. I don't want to make you overly psychotic about your water. Look, what you're drinking is toxic. You can't overlook it. Even when you wash your hands or you bathe in the water, taking a shower, a bath, whatever, your skin's permeable. We know this, don't we? It absorbs medications that doctors give you for autoimmune disorders. Doctors will give you creams to rub on. Why? Because medication can be passed through your skin. Testosterone hormonal creams, nicotine patches. This proves that your skin is permeable. So even if you're washing your hands and you're showering in this, to a certain degree, these toxins still have a chance to pass into you, even if you drink clean water. That sucks. So if you're on some medicated cream, you understand. You can transmit things transdermally. Stockpiled toxins in your body eventually overwhelm the immune system. Cancer, autoimmune disorders, constant internal inflammation, dysregulated hormones, and your body will attempt to encapsulate the toxins even in body fat to save you as well. Maybe you're wondering why your miracle diet has failed you, or your workout routine is not working. Maybe you need a detox to release the toxins and get them out, because sometimes your body fat actually acts as a lifeline when you can't fight these toxins anymore. It tries to make like a prison around it. It's saving you from the accumulated toxins. And then this fat seemingly won't go away. And when it does, eventually someday, you'll get slightly sick or very sick as it enters your bloodstream and your system. So you have to have a proper way to detox. Okay, standard Brita water filters like most people use that sit on the counter, guilty as charged. They remove very little toxins. So let's talk about what can actually remove toxic garbage from the water. Okay? For years, I believed my Brita water filters were saving me, and this is how stupid I am. I got 2 of them to double filter. I'm sure it is helping somewhat. Throw the water in one. Once it's full, dump it into the other. It gets double filtered. It sounds so stupid to say it. Once I found out what actually works to filter water, what actually can help you, and how little these water filters that we buy at Costco and Walmart and all these different stores do, I was blown away and feel like a moron for my attempt to drink healthy water. But again, I can't beat myself up too much because this information is not readily available. You have to go searching for it. And I did for me and you. So the best clean water methods: reverse osmosis and distillers. They can be purchased in countertop models or mounted below your sink. That's right. At your apartment, at your house, wherever you're at. You can still have clean water. Even if you're on the 3rd floor of an apartment, you don't necessarily have to do below the sink thing. You can just get you on the counter reverse osmosis or a distiller. I'm not saying that they're cheap, but what's your health worth? They're best for just leaving you with actual clean water that you want to consume. But you must reapply minerals that are in water because these systems otherwise will remove every mineral, every electrolyte, and you will become dehydrated no matter how much water you drink. See, water has a balance of these things. Since we can't get natural water that's actually clean with its natural electrolyte balance, then we have to clean the water and then add electrolytes to it. Electrolytes are many different things. Extra sodium, which is being demonized, you need it. You got to have sodium. You have to have it for your central nervous system, for your brain to work, for your muscles to fire, for everything in your system to work correctly. Untouched water has a natural balance of electrolytes. Out in nature, it's got the perfect balance of minerals. Without you having to be an electrolyte expert, apply a salt that has a mineral balance, but not any salt. Don't use Morton's iodized salt. It's stripped of everything that's good in the salt. The best salt for low cost for you people out there is Celtic salt. You can find it in almost every single store. It's the cleanest, highest mineral count of all the little goodies I was talking about that are in it. Lowest metal content, lowest microplastics. Usually it's in a little blue bag. Celtic salt. Also, Himalayan pink salt can be good. Just kind of research your sources if you care. But don't use your standard iodized salt. It's bleached. It's ran through a process just like most other processed foods that strip it of everything good that it's supposed to have. If you really research your source of salt, you're going to find out a lot of them apply a designer name and a higher price to their pink Himalayan salt or their Celtic salt. So that's why I'm telling you to look into it. Add half a teaspoon of salt that you choose to a gallon of this reverse osmosis or distilled water, then there you go. You've just remineralized your water, and it's clean from most everything. Some doctors will say that these processes, reverse osmosis and distilled water, remove everything and leave you with just the water. There was this guy I listened to just recently that has tested it and found no reverse osmosis or distilled water or any method that removes everything from the water. It gets it down to a relatively inconceivable small amount, which you don't have to really worry about. Just put it that way. So think about that. Okay, now salt, electrolyte balance. You having the correct things in the water that keep you hydrated, help your body work correctly with the water. Another one is ketone water. It's spelled Quinton. It's excellent, but it's very expensive. It's very clean. It's very high in essential mineral count, more so than any salt products you're going to buy. And electrolytes and all the good stuff. Ketone water. Okay, now let's go to another thing you're considering. You want bottled water. I can just do that. I'll get distilled water at Walmart. That's not your best alternative. Bottled water, why is it bad? Inevitably, microplastics leach into the water, especially in warmer weather. Buy glass if you can. You've heard of BPA, right? You'll even see some bottles say BPA free, and they're in a plastic bottle. Effing liars. Don't buy in plastic. Buy glass if you can. And it's more expensive. But say you're not going to go out and get one of these reverse osmosis filters or distillers for your own self, for your water at your house. Well, then maybe you do have to go get some kind of plastic bottled stuff. Hey, it's better than the tap water. But remember this, what we're seeing is an epidemic lately of chemicals. They come from plastics that are in water and in foods, meaning very bad hormones for you. Remember the story of how it's turning frogs gay that Alex Jones broke years ago? Everyone rips on this dude. Yet again, he was right near the bullseye when he said this. Simply look at the lowering of testosterone in the male population over the last 50 years. There has been some long-term studies done all over the world collecting data. Scientists have done this. I did an episode on this, keeping it real. It's in the past episodes. Check that one out about the male population losing their testosterone. You can correctly guess women are affected equally in some way because they have to deal with hormones and stuff too being made in their system. It's not all plastics. I'm not saying that. There are many toxins in our food, in the air, but it definitely has been identified as part of the problem of our issue with hormones. So we know plastics cause it. Stay away from them if you can. Bottom line is we know about these toxins and how it's affecting the population. Yet there is hardly anyone talking about it. You can look it up and find it. Get off of Google. Get onto Brave or, even DuckDuckGo has started censoring some stuff. You can look some of this stuff up for yourself if you're not sucked into the mainstream media and the mainstream search engines. and you'll find real studies. You'll find real facts. Oh my God. We could focus on all other ways we get exposed to toxic materials, but water is so important to life. Like I said, it's like food. It's like air, oxygen. We need these things. We need sunlight. The photons from sun. This is an untouched subject. I see more and more people talking about it, but we need sun. We don't just need it on our skin. We need it in our eyes. Do you know that we have melanin in our brain? Your eyes are attached to your brain. This is an exposed part of your brain. Your eyes are an exposed part of your brain. This takes in sunlight, photosynthesis, and makes melanin in your brain. You need it. You got to have it. Your skin needs it. This is one of the ways you convert energy in your mitochondria, through biophotosynthesis. But I'm getting off the point. So let's return. I'll do an episode on light. I personally look at water as one of the most abundant substances in our body, allowing it to function. I personally don't want to be sick and be barely alive. Drinking toxins, watching each year pass as I get more sick and disease. It's outrageously scary, the direction this is heading. Take some time to educate yourself beyond what I'm sharing. Your drinking water is probably the biggest factor for your health. You can do something about it. Next, I'd recommend stop eating processed foods. Doesn't have anything to do with water, but your health. I have harped on processed foods and cursed my head off, and I can't believe that some of my shows haven't been taken off the internet for the way I talked about processed foods. This is much more difficult for people because food literally changes your microbiome, affects your mind. That's why some of these foods can become so addictive. Scientists are marketing experts. They've spent an untold amount of years and money to make this possible, to get the right taste, texture, mouthfeel, packaging, colors, additive chemicals, and more. You can be programmed. Did you know that you can be programmed like a robot? You have probably caught yourself daydreaming about a Coke or a burger from McDonald's or Jack in the Box or wherever. Next moment, you're running to go grab this item. Your brain and microbiome want it. You actually release neurochemicals. That's your brain chemicals. Just like certain drugs do when you consume these processed foods and drinks. A dopamine, serotonin, endorphin rush hits and you're happy for a moment. Then you need it again. This is not looking at food for fuel. You're looking at food for pleasure. This subject is incredibly deep, and I know it's a rabbit hole I don't need to get into, so do it another time, just like light. So get your water clean first, apply some proper salt or electrolytes, observe the benefits. It will become very clear as it impacts you at a cellular level. Your mind will be clearer, your body will have more energy, because life's tough enough. We all get beat up every day at work. Taking care of our families, doing everything that we got to do to be responsible human beings. You become healthier, which in turn makes you happier. You may notice chronic problems that you've had clear up through clean water. Bad skin, inflammation, aches and pains, brain fog, just to name a few. At first, you may detox, meaning you're actually going to feel a bit worse as your body cleanses trapped toxins that are inside that the clean water is flushing out. Ultimately, you'll be better. The better you, the hydrated, the healthy, the better awareness and thinking you. Okay, some other methods and info. There's pH balanced water. I've seen no significant value. I fell into this trap for a while. I find this to be a scam. Cherry-picked info to sell products on this. Your body is miraculous at maintaining its own pH level, or you would die. So I'm not stressing to do this or taking away from it, because it may actually help. Do it if you want. If you're in a dire medical condition, receiving treatments, raising the acidic nature of your body, this may be a good idea. But I'm not going to be one to push it at all. Structured water, real flowing, toxin-free spring water is the actual best. But there are some expensive products that can structure water. This is good, but out of reach for most people financially. The most important thing is clean water first, which we are talking about. Hydrogen water. This one's out there. Hydrogen is another massively abundant part of your body. We have found that hydrogen can power vehicles and other machinery. It's been suppressed by the government to some extent. It's fantastic for your health. If you find a legitimate way to get hydrogen in your water long enough to drink it, most tablets that are out on the market have already been proven they do not meet their claims. They're lying. But good systems do exist. This is where you would have to do your homework, because I didn't do the proper research for this. Otherwise, I'd direct you to someone, but you can research hydrogen water generators. There's even ways you can breathe it. It's great to breathe too. Again, this may take a hefty chunk of finances to get into this system, the hydrogen system. If you have it to spend, I would certainly recommend looking into this more, because I've seen too much scientific paperwork and doctors and scientists talking about it. They can't all be liars. So get reverse osmosis or distilled water. Get one for your house. Get one that'll do it on the countertop or below the sink. And if you can't do that, you may have to go the plastic route. You may have to go buy distilled water from Walmart. Add electrolytes to it. This is still better than tap water. You can put filters on your shower, on your bath, that will filter out stuff. Don't look to Brita water filters to take care of everything, because they're not going to get rid of all the toxins. And that's about all I got for you today. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Find a way to clean up your water, because you have to have it every single day. You've got to drink. And I hope you're not drinking Dr. Pepper's, Cokes, and beers and everything else but water. You actually need water by itself, maybe a little flavoring. Water with electrolytes. Get it in, get hydrated. Notice how clean water and electrolyte balanced water makes you feel. You may have been dehydrated, like seriously, for decades because of improper electrolyte balance. Then you're drinking in water. All it does is flush out what electrolytes you have in you, especially if you're not eating a good diet. Processed foods will give you lots of sodium, but they won't get you lots of, like I mentioned, potassium, magnesium, chloride. I don't know. Man, there's so many off the top of my head. I'm not going to belch them all out, but I'm never going to tell you to do a processed food diet. So tap water bad, reverse osmosis good, distilled water good. Get into it. And if you like, share this with your friends, family, coworkers. You can support this video podcast by subscribing, looking in the links below. There'll be a way you can share $1 a month with me by subscribing. Be a helper. And if you can't do a subscription like for a month, look at my Venmo or my PayPal. It's below too. You can do a one-time tip, and I would appreciate it. Much love to all you guys and girls and everybody else that's out there that doesn't know what you are. I'll get you next time. Later.